My name is Lara Silva, and I was originally born in Brazil. My mom moved at a very young age. She left me in Brazil to come to America to give me a better life for her as well. Once she was finally able to bring me to America, we struggled, obviously. We grew up knowing that God existed, but I didn't know him personally. We didn't really go to church. I didn't own a Bible. So for me, it was never, I always did feel like something was like missing. But you go throughout life, and it wasn't until I went to college and I was studying to be a nurse, all my sciences. I loved it. However, I just felt so out of place in what I was learning, and I felt like I wasn't going to be truly happy doing that. But I made the abrupt decision to quit college, and it made me feel just awful. I was depressed. I felt like a loser and a quitter. But I was living on my own with a roommate, and I had to make a living. So I was bartending, I was serving at late nights, but I was just so empty. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and I didn't have a purpose. And so it wasn't until my friend asked me, like, well, what were you doing when you last felt truly happy? And I had to think back elementary school when I was putting on dances and performances and shows. Like, that's when I felt happy and alive. And so she was like, just go for it. And I did. And I showed up, and it was an incredible, like, I just felt at home. But it was also the same time that I started going to church. And I didn't realize that passion that I had and that natural gift and talent that I had that I didn't know I had was given to me by God. I just lied dormant until I allowed him to really step into my life, and I allowed him to guide me and help me, because it's just a crazy journey to decide to be an actor. So I realized I needed him to really guide me, and he has been there this whole time, opening doors, closing some, and bringing me full circle on just an incredible show like The Chosen, where it's changing lives globally.
So you came to faith a bit later in life.
Yes.
In your 20s.
Yeah, my mid-20s.
How did people around you respond when you made that decision?
My mom was so happy. She grew up Catholic, so she just was happy that I had found my faith and my own relationship with Jesus. And I got saved, shortly right after I found acting, it's been an incredible journey since then. And my friends have been really supportive. I have friends that are also believers and some that are non, but they know that I don't push what I believe onto them or beat them over the heads with it. I just live a life where I speak openly about it and what God has done for me, and be a light to others, so that they can hopefully, I feel like almost a positive influence for them without actually forcing it on my friends. So.
What were those early days like, auditioning?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have thick skin. What was it like at the beginning?
They were terrible. I mean, it still can be really daunting, but at first it was scary. It's very scary showing up, not really knowing who you are, or having that confidence in this industry. Like, you have to have it, and I'm still working on it. But I know that I'm confident enough in how God sees me and what He's given me that's what keeps me going, and I'm just keeping at it. It's a learning experience, no matter where you are in this career.
Where did the first breakthrough come then, and how do you feel God helped that come about?
So before The Chosen came about, I had done a few other co-star roles and a couple guest star roles, which are just, you come in, you work, you say a few lines, and then you're out on a couple of great shows. So that was a good experience, like learning experience, to get that done on my resume. But with The Chosen, about 3 years before The Chosen was even a thought, there was a young girl. We became really good friends. She was filming a film, and she started working at a casting office in LA that was casting The Chosen. And when she saw it come through, she thought of me for the role of Mary Magdalene. And I remember reading the script and thinking like, wow, this is about the life of Jesus. Like, this is really well done. I haven't seen anything like this. I've never felt, I was crying, I was in tears, reading the script. So I knew that there was something special about it, but I didn't know, none of us would have known where it would be now today. But I auditioned for Mary Magdalene. I didn't get the role. However, Dallas Jenkins, our director, just saw me for a different role in mind. So I then auditioned for the role of Eden. And so just the process of that, I know a lot of people don't realize that, but thousands and thousands of actors read for the role. You're up against so many, and I would have never known about the project had I known this girl that I met, who we became friends, and she was really strong in her faith and an actress as well. So it's like I looked up to her, and then it's almost like a divine, the dots connected divinely, that God placed people in my life to bring me somehow on The Chosen. And Dallas loved what I did. So it's just it's so humbling, and it's mind-blowing every time I talk about it.
What was that experience like on the set, particularly the first few days?
It was so scary because it was the biggest set I feel like I had been on. As far as the role that I had a lot of scenes, a lot of lines. It was the most that I've had. So it was intimidating, and I felt like everybody was just so incredibly talented. And my first scene was with Shahar Isaac, who plays Peter, and he had came from an incredible school in New York City and had studied drama and acting, and I felt like everybody had such great resumes, and I felt so out of place because I felt like I didn't have all that fancy schooling with acting. I just had my little theater in South Florida that I studied at, and really my natural instincts and God and prayers. So but that's what makes me who I am, and it took me a while to accept that as well, that's just who I am as an actor, and that's okay.
When you were filming, did you have any idea how it would just be so huge around the world?
No, we had no idea. Like I said, I knew that there was something so special about the script, and I trust God, and I know that He can do impossible math, but we didn't know that we would be just where we are. The funding and the love and the support that we've gotten from this, the crowd and the fans, and has been everything. It's meant everything, because we wouldn't be able to do it without the love and support. And so here we are filming season 4, and we plan on doing 7 seasons, and that's a God.
What was it like the first time you were recognized, when these people started recognizing you?
Yeah, it is surreal, and it's humbling because you get to be I get to be a part of a show that's changing their lives. So it's different, I think, when we recognize actors out at an airport or at a restaurant. There's a different feel, I think, with being a part of the show, because not many actors get to say that they were on movies or TV shows that really saved lives, quite literally. We've met fans that I met a young man who was suicidal, and it wasn't until he saw the first season and Mary Magdalene's story, and he gave us big hugs, and it was just, you could feel that people were genuinely moved and saved by seeing our show, and that's special. So
from The Chosen, what happened next? What other projects?
From The Chosen, so I've done, I did a movie called Blue Ridge with Jonathan Sheck. I played a deputy, and that was a lot of fun. I have also, I'm in the film Divine Influencer. That's coming out August 4th, and you'll be able to stream it on PureFlix. And it's just an incredible story as well. A woman's journey. She's very different from Eden. She is she's an influencer, but she's very entitled, and she's very narcissistic. But she's not malicious. She just has no idea of people around her and how there's people in need. She's got this attitude of like, me first. It's all about me, until she realizes that she loses everything. She becomes homeless and loses her job and car. Her parents cut her off as a teaching lesson, and she starts working at a homeless shelter. But that's where she realizes that serving others has now influenced her and gives her a purpose in what God wants her to do. So she finds the Lord there as well, and she has an incredible journey.
This movie, I believe, is going to be on PureFlix, is that right?
Yes.
So there seems to be a sort of shift in Christian or faith-based movies that are just becoming more popular.
Yeah.
They did have a reputation being a bit corny.
Yes.
What do you think? What do you attribute to that shift?
I think, honestly, even with The Chosen, it was the first show, multi-season show about the life of Christ. But what makes us so special, why people relate to it so much, is because there's humanity and there's stories written in there that are actually, they may not have necessarily been written in the Bible, but it could have been plausible to lead you to what you actually read in the Gospels. For instance, who Eden is. We didn't know that might not have been her real name, in the Bible, but we knew that she existed because Jesus heals her mother. So from there, the writers have written incredible, rich marital stories that people can relate to. And so I think that the faith-based world, I'm hoping, is going to be able to kind of emanate that and write real life situations that don't always have to be cookie cutter and very kind of cheesy and corny. It can be real, but it can, always just still point you back to Christ and his love and what that means. So I'm hoping that it continues, that, our faith-based films can continue to be excellent.